Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I don't think it happened in a single moment. There wasn't a crash or a scream or some big betrayal with fireworks. It started quieter than that, with a question. It was a Friday. I came home late from work, client call ran long, and Evelyn was on the couch, legs tucked under a throw blanket, eyes glued to her phone like the rest of the world had been muted. "Hey," I said, dropping my keys in the dish by the door. "You already eat?" She didn't look up, just shrugged. "I made something earlier." I paused by the kitchen, grabbed a beer from the fridge, and leaned in the doorway. "You want to watch something later? Maybe start that show we were talking about?" She finally looked up. Her face was expressionless, unreadable, like she had no idea what I was talking about or why I was standing there. "I'm tired, Victor." "That's fine," I said casually. "Just thought we could—" "I'm not a prop in your life," she said flat. "I'm not here just to fill your evenings." That one hit different. "I didn't say you were," I replied, more confused than angry. "I just thought we could spend time together." She set her phone on the coffee table with this exaggerated calm, like she was above the conversation. "You always do this. Try to act like things are fine if we just pretend nothing's wrong." I'm done pretending. I stood there for a beat, holding my beer, wondering what I'd stepped into. "You want to tell me what this is really about?" I asked. Her eyes flicked to the TV. "I don't owe you a therapy session." I didn't say anything after that. There wasn't much to say. That night I ate alone. She went to bed early, and I stared at the hallway light spilling across the floor like something had just cracked open between us, and I wasn't sure yet if it could be closed again. The thing about Evelyn is, when she changes, she doesn't announce it. She just starts doing things differently and waits to see if you'll notice. And I did. Not all at once, but enough. The next couple of weeks were quiet, but not the good kind. Conversations turned into checklists. She stopped kissing me goodbye in the morning. One day, I noticed her wedding ring was gone. I asked about it, and she brushed it off, said it felt tight lately, probably nothing. But she didn't put it back on. That was the first time it felt real, like she wasn't just pulling away. She was preparing to leave. One night, after dinner, I said, "You've been somewhere else lately." She didn't deny it, just kept wiping down the counter like we were talking about the weather. "I'm serious," I said. "If something's wrong, tell me. We don't fix it by pretending." She looked at me, towel in her hand. "I'm just tired of putting on an act. You want someone who smiles on command, who's always available, who doesn't have her own life. That's not me anymore." "That's not what I want," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I just want to know who I'm coming home to." Her laugh was short, bitter. "Maybe that's the problem. You think I'm something you come home to." That stuck with me for days. I tried to bridge the gap the way I always had, small kindnesses. I brought home her favorite pastry from that French place on 8th, left a handwritten note on her desk. "Miss you today." No reaction, not even a nod. One night, I asked if she wanted to go for a walk, just around the block. She said she had a webinar. Later, I found her scrolling TikTok, earbuds in, watching a woman explain the power of reclaiming your energy from toxic men. The irony wasn't lost on me. By the third week, I stopped asking questions, not because I stopped caring, but because I started realizing she didn't want answers. She wanted out. She just didn't know how to say it yet. And I wasn't going to beg someone who was halfway out the door to turn around. It was a Saturday morning when I saw it. Evelyn had left her laptop open on the kitchen island, halfway through a coffee and an untouched bowl of oatmeal. I wasn't snooping. I was grabbing a charger. But the message thread was already open. She'd been texting her friend Maya. The last message from Maya read, "So, still playing the roommate game?" And Evelyn had replied, "For now." He's finally backing off. It's easier when he stays quiet. I stared at the screen, not just the words, but what they meant. The roommate game. Like I was some temporary inconvenience she had to manage. I didn't touch anything, just walked away, left the laptop exactly how she left it. That night, we ate dinner in silence. She scrolled through her phone between bites of grilled chicken, like she was too busy for even fake conversation. The next few days, I started pulling back, quietly. I stopped checking if she needed anything before going to the store, made my coffee, didn't offer to make hers. Laundry? Just mine. She noticed, eventually. Came into the living room one evening in one of those oversized shirts she used to wear when she wanted to feel close. "You okay?" she asked, arms folded. "Just fine." She gave me that squint, half doubt, half curiosity. "You've been cold." I looked at her. "I thought you preferred it that way." She didn't answer, just stood there for a few seconds longer than necessary, then turned and went upstairs. Later that night, I heard her talking softly in the guest room. Her voice was low but warmer than anything she'd used with me in weeks. I stepped into the hallway, and I heard it clear as day. "Yeah, I think it's working. He started to shut down. That's what you said would happen, right?" I didn't recognize the voice on the other end. Male, confident, calm. I stepped back from the hallway, slowly, like stepping away from the edge of something sharp. Something had changed, not just emotionally, but tactically. And I wasn't in a marriage anymore. I was in a game I never agreed to play. After that night, I stopped trying to win. Whatever Evelyn was trying, testing me, waiting for me to snap, maybe even hoping I'd make the decision for her, I wasn't playing into it. I became neutral, precise. I still did what needed to be done around the house, but only what was essential. Dishes, only mine. Trash, taken out, but no reminder for her. No more shared schedules, no more, "Hey, don't forget your appointment at 3." It wasn't revenge, it was survival. She started noticing. I could tell by the way she hovered around the edges of the room, like she was waiting for me to crack. One night, she stood behind me as I washed my plate. "You don't talk to me anymore." I dried the dish. "You stopped listening a long time ago." She blinked. I don't think she expected that. Then came the shifts. She started wearing perfume again, cooking dinner, real meals like she used to before the distance set in. One night, she even brought home my favorite takeout. "I thought we could eat together," she said, setting the bags down. I didn't make a scene, just nodded. We ate. The food was good, but I didn't say so. She asked about work. I gave short answers, kept my voice even. The next day, she wore a sundress I hadn't seen in over a year, came downstairs humming, left her phone face up for once. I didn't say anything. I just kept observing. Then came the misstep. It was Tuesday night. I had stepped out for a bit to pick up a few things, just a quick run to the store. Evelyn must have assumed I'd be gone longer, because when I came back, the house was quiet except for a voice coming from the bedroom. She had her phone on speaker. Probably didn't expect me to walk in when I did. "He's giving you space because he's checked out. Don't confuse silence with progress," a man's voice said, smooth, practiced, like someone who liked hearing himself talk. Then her voice, "I know. I don't want it to blow up. Not yet." I stopped in the hallway. Didn't make a sound. Just stood there, out of sight, while the rest of the call played out like a badly written script. His name was Jeremy. I remembered him. Barely. Some marketing coach she met at a branding retreat last year. She once called him a professional contact. Later, a mentor. Right. When the call ended and she walked out a few minutes later, her face was calm, normal, like nothing happened. Like I hadn't just heard her blueprint for detachment. She didn't see me at first. I was standing by the sink. When she did, she gave me a soft smile, the kind she used to mean. I nodded once and went back to unpacking the groceries. After I heard that call with Jeremy, something in me shut off. Not out of anger, not out of heartbreak, just clarity. Like a switch flipped, and I finally saw the room for what it was, the game, the roles, the script she'd been rehearsing. I wasn't going to play the villain in someone else's performance piece. I didn't confront her. Instead, I started preparing. I copied down account numbers, changed the password she didn't remember I still had access to, called a lawyer. Quiet steps, things she wouldn't notice until she had to. The best part? She thought the silence meant it was working. She started leaning back in, asking if I wanted to watch a movie, bringing up a weekend trip, just the two of us, to the lake house her aunt used to rent out. "No pressure," she said. "Just us. No phones." I told her I'd think about it. And I did. I let her plan it. Let her book it. Let her believe she was reclaiming something she'd long since buried. Meanwhile, Jeremy's messages started thinning. I saw them through the old iPad she'd forgotten was still synced to her phone. At first, they were constant, emotional pep talks, playful flirtation. Then they got shorter. "Busy today? Talk later? Don't overthink it." She started checking her phone more often after that, swiping quick when I entered the room. I never asked, never raised my voice, just logged the pattern. The Wednesday before the trip, she walked in while I was folding laundry. My laundry. "You've been different," she said, soft. I kept folding. Different how? Colder. Distant. I don't know. "You used to care." I looked at her for a second. "You said you didn't want someone who needed you." "That's not what I meant." "Then maybe you should have been clearer." Her expression tightened. She opened her mouth, closed it, then turned and walked out. That weekend, 2 hours before we were supposed to leave for the lake house, I left an envelope on the kitchen table. Inside, a signed separation agreement. Clean, fair, quiet. No fight, no drama, just an ending she never believed would come. She called my name when she saw the envelope. "Victor," she said, like she couldn't believe it was real. "What is this?" I was already halfway to the door with my overnight bag. "You said you wanted space. I'm giving it to you." "This isn't space," she snapped. "This is quitting." "No," I said, still calm. "This is the part where I stop waiting to be chosen." Her hands trembled as she opened the envelope. She flipped through the pages like she was searching for some hidden joke at the end. There wasn't one. "You're seriously doing this?" she asked. "Over what? Some distance?" I turned back to her. Not just distance. The lies. The games. The conversations I wasn't supposed to hear. Her face drained of color. "You were listening?" "I was surviving," I said. "Big difference." She sat down hard on one of the dining chairs, the document still in her hands. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just needed something. I didn't know what. You found what you needed, Evelyn. You just didn't like the cost." I walked out without slamming the door. That would have been theatrical. And this wasn't a movie. It was the slow unraveling of something she thought would always stay stitched. I spent the weekend at my cousin Darius's place out in the country. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer, and we sat out by the fire pit, letting the night stay quiet. When I got back on Sunday, the house felt strange. Still, but not in a peaceful way. Like something had been cleared out without permission. Evelyn was in the kitchen, hair pulled back, wearing jeans and an old t-shirt. No makeup, no filters. The agreement sat on the counter. Signed. "I don't want this," she said quietly. I looked at her. Really looked. Not as the woman I married, but as the woman who had slowly pulled herself out of our life, thread by thread. "You don't want this," I said. "But you designed it." Her mouth opened slightly, but nothing came out. She wasn't crying. She wasn't begging. She was just defeated. And I realized right then I was already on the other side of this, and she couldn't follow. She moved out 3 days later. No speech, no last-minute confessions, just boxes taped shut and a quiet door clicked behind her. I watched from the upstairs window as she loaded the last of her things into the backseat of her car, rushing, but careful, like someone afraid to break the very thing they already shattered. She didn't take everything. Left behind a few jackets, her yoga mat, a bottle of perfume in the bathroom. Her scent hung in the hallway for a few days. Then it faded. I didn't touch any of it. The house was quiet, not empty, just quiet. I'd expected to feel hollow, maybe even bitter. But what came was clarity. Peace isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It just arrives when the noise stops. A week passed before I heard from her again. A text. "Hope you're okay. Let me know if you need me to sign anything else." I stared at it for a second, then typed, "Take care of yourself." That was it. No more follow-ups, no dots bouncing at the bottom of the screen, just silence, the kind that finally meant something. As for Jeremy, he didn't last long. Apparently, he needed space of his own once she became fully available. A mutual friend of hers, Krista, called it poetic. I called it predictable. I didn't gloat. I didn't care enough to. He gave her attention until she gave him reality, and then he disappeared. Some men only love the chase, never the catch. But me? I'd stayed for years. I carried us when she coasted. I poured in everything I had while she kept a hand on the door. Now I poured into something else, myself. Old habits returned, morning runs, music I used to love. I dusted off my camera and started taking photos again. Not for social media, just for me. The silence no longer echoed. It just rested. And when I ran into her 2 months later at a bookstore, it was exactly as it should have been. She looked surprised, said, "You look different." I smiled. That's because I stopped standing still. She looked like she had more to say, but I didn't wait. I walked out, didn't turn back. Some people only notice what they had when it stops waiting for them. By the time she saw it, I was already gone. Thank you for watching.